Live. Yeah, by the time this is up on the feed, I'll have the thumbnail on it.
Just wake up.
I slept in, yeah. I didn't forget, but my alarm didn't go off this morning because apparently I forgot to activate it. So, yeah. Not to mention, I fell asleep pretty late last night. I couldn't sleep. And,
Facts, yeah. We figured we were gonna go a bit later on the live stream anyway because neither of us play in week 17 fantasy wise. So if you guys have any fantasy questions, we'll do our best to help you answer them. But full disclosure, we haven't researched the slate too much or anything. I have a DFS lineup that I did, but that's about the extent of the fantasy information that I've exposed myself to this week.
Yeah, facts. But yeah, who are we gonna put on the thumbnail? Who are you thinking? Who are the big boys to get on here?
Who knows, man? They just throw some dudes on there.
For sure. All right, so we got a few questions. We got Justin right in here. He says, "Good morning, gang. I made it to my fantasy Super Bowl." There you go, Justin. Congratulations and good luck. That's big. That's big ups.
Yeah, if you mean you made it to it this week, then I would advise you to have it in week 16 going forward.
Agreed. Swift, Chubb, or A-Rob PPR. Are those options? Are there any expected to sit? Because I know there's
I know. Okay, so for Chubb, they have to play for something. The Browns need to win. So he's definitely the safest from that perspective. Yeah. A-Rob and the Bears also need to win. The Lions, I mean, they're playing for nothing right now. They just announced that they're on a huge coaching search and all this kind of stuff. Matt Stafford is expected to play, so that's good news for Swift. In a full PPR league, Chubb is a little closer, but I think I would go with Chubb and A-Rob personally.
Same. Assuming there's only one, I'd go with Chubb, though.
Oh, right. Yeah. It could only be one.
You're good. Boys, we got the chip. I seriously cannot thank you guys enough. Looking forward to seeing your guys' Dynasty videos and getting ready for a repeat and to defend the title next year. Thank you, guys. No problem. Glad you're able to secure that dub, and glad we were able to have an influence on it. Now, get ready, because this offseason is going to be pretty action-packed, and we're excited to have you guys aboard.
Facts.
Just wanted to say hi. I'm at work. We'll watch the rerun later. There you go.
I wish everyone would watch the rerun like you, Jared. I noticed you do that a lot. I'm kind of surprised that you do that. I don't know if I would be doing that. Do you just go back and see how bad our takes were? Because maybe that's why you're doing it. I'm not sure.
No, that was a funny one. He was rewatching the live stream when we did our redraft league, and he's like, "Who won this league again?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, Bush, paying for me. Hopefully my first overall pick doesn't get hurt next year." And he's just like, "Oh yeah, this is the league you guys refer to."
Yeah,
man. I remember I got so excited when I won that first overall pick too. Feels bad.
Yeah, I didn't have a single first or second overall pick this offseason. I guess that was a blessing in disguise. So
yeah, in my one home league, I had the second overall pick. In that FFC league, I had the first overall pick, and both those guys played a combined 4 or 5 games total.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yikes.
Not great.
Appreciate that. Best on YouTube. Yes, sir. Oh, just at work, want to say hi. We'll watch. Oh yeah, okay, we already went over that. My bad. Tighten up, boys. Yeah, good luck. Good luck with the Titans this week, eh?
I'm like an honorary Titans fan with the amount of Titans I drafted this year. So
for real. Hopefully, somehow though, what's his name? Hopefully, somehow Derrick Henry scores 2 more rushing touchdowns than Dalvin Cook this week, so Tyler doesn't win that bet.
Yeah, that's facts. Did he pick Dalvin Cook? No, he picked Derrick Henry, didn't he?
He picked Dalvin. No, he picked Derrick for the rushing yards.
True. Okay.
But the thing is that Alvin Kamara could have won it all for the rushing touchdowns on his own, but he got COVID this week. So now I have to rely on the guy right below them. Yo, what's up, Lamar Gaming? New face in the channel as well. Nice to see you. I need to win this week because the scrub got lucky and snuck his way through the Super Bowl. So I have Kyler versus the Rams, also Phillip Rivers versus the Jags. I love Kyler, but Rams versus Jags, I don't know. I'm not sitting Kyler Murray for Phillip Rivers in the fantasy Super Bowl, especially with the amount of pressure on the line for the Cardinals. They need to win this game. Kyler Murray knows if the Cardinals are going to win this game, Kyler Murray is going to have to be a big factor. And although the Rams are a really good defense.
And Kyler's banged up too, which isn't helpful. But I agree with Danny. If Kyler got to you to this point, you can't sit him for Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, if you're talking about maybe even Jalen Hurts or someone like that, I would consider that. But Phillip Rivers just no rushing upside.
Yeah, he offers no rushing upside. But what you need out of Phillip Rivers is a 3 touchdown like passing day for him to even have like 20 points. And we all know that Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines are very capable of scoring on the ground and taking away those tough touchdown opportunities from Phillip Rivers. So I would definitely lean Kyler Murray.
Agreed. You think I should start Josh Jacobs over Diggs at flex?
Yes, I do, because Stephon Diggs and the Buffalo Bills are not expected to play a lot of time. Supposedly, they said Josh Allen is close to like the franchise record or something in terms of passing yards or passing touchdowns. I can't remember which one it is, but there was a report that came out that said Matt Barkley is going to get a lot of time or something in this game. So I would imagine that Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen are probably the 2 most notable players on their offense are taken out in favor of Matt Barkley. And then they'll probably just use like Isaiah McKenzie and like some lower tier receivers. So I would go with Josh Jacobs. They don't necessarily need to win their game either, the Raiders, but I at least trust them to play the full game as compared to the Bills.
For sure. I have a few injuries at receiver, but I still have D-Money Adams in a second.
He also said, should I start Rodgers or Watson?
Oh, sorry, my bad. Out of those options,
I would lean Watson personally because Rodgers, while the Bears need to win that game, the Packers don't, right? Because they are they locked? I don't think they're locked into the 1 seed, but I think they can scoreboard watch and see what else is going on in the other games. And if the Seahawks are losing or the Saints are losing, then they could opt to take Rodgers out of the game. So I would just go with Watson just to mitigate that kind of risk, because I don't think they're all that different in the 2 matchups that they have. Like Watson going up against Tennessee, like that is a great matchup. So I'll take Watson there.
Yep, for sure. I have a few injuries at receiver, but I still have D-Money Adams in the second receiver. I have T. Higgins and Sterling Shepard versus the Cowboys. Higgins good, but Shepard has the matchup. Don't say Higgins for Shepard, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I think I would just roll T. Higgins there.
Yep. Best sites to use for DFS and prop betting. Any advice? What platforms to use? Okay. For us personally in Canada, a lot of our prop betting, like or game betting or anything that we have to do, game props, touchdown scores,
we can't use BetMGM or any of those type of sites,
even
but
like a FanDuel, like we can't even use the
we can't
FanDuel,
use
right?
FanDuel betting. We use FanDuel for DFS, at least I do, and we can use DraftKings. So I personally like FanDuel better than DraftKings. I've never tried Yahoo or like any of the other like DFS apps personally, but I've only ever used those 2, and FanDuel's the one I prefer. And then in terms of prop betting, I use Bodog for all of my betting just because I can use it in Canada. But I think Monkey Knife Fight's kind of a cool platform for prop betting as well if you want to do those like games that they have. But yeah, as far as like BetMGM and like some of those other platforms, we're not actually able to use those in Canada.
I've used a good amount of Bet365 on like over here in Canada. So and if Antonio Gibson doesn't play, should I start McKissick over Gio Bernard? You should start McKissick over Gio Bernard regardless, in my opinion.
Even with
against the Eagles, yeah.
Gio Bernard, who does he play? The Ravens?
Football?
Oh yeah, that's not good. I think McKissick I would start over Gio Bernard because you got JD McKissick or the Philadelphia Eagles are missing so many starters. One of them being Fletcher Cox, which has an impact on JD McKissick in the run game. So yeah, I think JD McKissick over Gio, regardless if Gibson plays or not, is probably smart.
For sure. By the way, who do you guys play this week?
Tampa?
Yeah.
Atlanta.
Okay. Yeah. That's actually a really close one. I'm probably going to go with Godwin then because of that.
Yeah.
Going against the Eagles is really nice too.
Is Slay playing?
I don't think so.
I think I'd start Godwin personally, but there is a chance that we get up big in this game and we sit our starters. I don't think that's going to happen personally. I think it's going to be a lot closer considering we're missing Devin White. We're missing Shaquille Barrett on the defense. Maybe we'll actually be able to cover someone over the middle without Devin White in the lineup. But I think there's an off chance that the Bucs like get out to a big lead and rest their starters, but I don't think that's going to happen personally. So I would lean Godwin slightly, but I think McLaurin's a good play also.
Yeah, that's fair. Chris says Allen Robinson or Jeff Wilson for my flex. I'm going with Allen Robinson there.
Yeah, me too.
Allen Robinson there. My bad. Excuse my words. But yeah, Waller or Kittle. Wow. I need to really check the matchups right here because this is literally like a 2 versus 3 argument here. 2000.
The Raiders play Denver, I think, or it could be the Chargers. I'm not even sure. Yeah, this is the amount of research we've done this week. Normally we're on the ball with the matchups. I remember them off the top of my head, but I think
same.
Neither of those guys are sits. Like who are you playing in your flex spots? Because I'd like to play both of them, to be honest. But
San Fran plays Seattle, so I don't know if I can Jamal Adams if he plays or even if he doesn't. Like
I think Seattle is more prone to tight ends than they are to receivers. At least lately. Obviously, early in the season they were very prone to receivers, but I think George Kittle was limited last week, and that's enough. Just like there's a good chance he's not limited this week because it was just his first game back last week. But I think that's enough for me to favor Waller over him slightly, just because there is that unknown. What if George Kittle doesn't play his full allotment of snaps? So I'll take Darren Waller there. Slightly.
To be fair, though, him being limited was still like 5 for 93.
Yeah, but him being limited is still better than every other tight end in the fantasy space, not named Travis Kelce and Darren Waller, in my opinion. Yeah. If George Kittle is back to his full allotment of snaps, he's ahead of Darren Waller, but we don't know that for sure. So I'll go with Waller.
That's fair. Yeah, I'll agree with that. DJ Moore, Madison, flex PPR. Give me DJ Moore.
I'll take DJ.
Last time we tried to trust Madison in our starting lineups, it didn't work out too well.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Pick 2, Ronald Jones, D. Williams.
Darrell Williams. With Bell's not playing and neither is DH, so it's Darrell Williams.
Yeah, I completely blanked. I was thinking Damian for a second.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Antonio Gibson, Cam Akers, Gus Edwards, or Malcolm Brown.
I'm going with the 2 young rooks.
You're going to go with Gibson and Akers? I guess we don't know for sure, though, if Gibson is going to be playing.
Sure. If you want to play it safe, though, is Rojo expected fully back this week?
He's going to play, yeah. The question is how much. There is a chance that they limit his workload coming off of a multi-week absence, but you don't really have the luxury to wait for a guy like Antonio Gibson, though. So, I think I would go with Rojo and Cam Akers.
Yep, I agree with that.
But is Cam Akers even back? Because wasn't he out last week?
Yeah. Okay, so keep in mind, I would actually play whoever gets the start there between Akers and Brown. Then I would
think it's a game time decision.
At least he's got the cuff or the sway in case Akers doesn't play. You got Brown.
Yeah, so that's a good point. Yeah, so I'd say Rojo's probably locked into your lineup, and then I'd go with Cam Akers. And if Cam Akers doesn't play, I'm not exactly sure when that game kicks off. It's probably a 4 p.m. kickoff based on their time zone. And if Cam Akers doesn't play, you could probably pivot to Gibson if he plays. But I think it's too risky to wait for Gibson straight up.
I'm gonna need which Samuel is that? Wait, Debo's out. Okay, so that has to be Curtis.
Yeah.
Regardless, make sure when you're asking these questions from now on, you put the scoring format and the full player names.
I don't think it matters. I think I'd start Corey Davis no matter what.
Yeah, but I'm saying for example, if this
Mike Davis and stuff,
if it said flex, right.
Well, he said wide receiver too. That's probably why he just put Davis there. But I think Corey Davis is the clear answer there. Juju's just been too inconsistent to trust, and so is the Steelers.
And I agree.
And the Steelers have I don't think they have anything to play for personally. I think they one, he has Mason Rudolph throwing him the ball, which isn't good. And 2, I think the Steelers are locked into their seed, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't think they have any. I think so. Yeah, I don't think I don't think they can move up or down, to be honest.
Well, if they win and the Bills lose, or if they lose and the Bills win, they have the same record right now. No,
I'm not sure. I think they're locked in because the Bills aren't playing their starters for very long either, and I don't think they would do that if they could move seeds.
That's fair. I mean, theoretically they can because they got the same record. So if one wins and one loses,
either way, if the Bills don't care enough to play their starters, if they can move seeds, I would imagine the Steelers don't care enough to play their starters to move seeds. They're already resting Ben. So
yeah, that's fair. Pick 2, Gaskin, Johnson.
David Johnson.
This has to be David, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Swift, Carson. I think I'm. Who did the Texans play again? Did you mention
Tennessee? I honestly, the way that Gaskin's used, I honestly think Gaskin's locked in.
Gaskin's the one that I'm locking in, not worrying about. Now I'm debating between Johnson and Swift.
Yeah, the Lions against Minnesota, right? Yeah. I think I would go Gaskin and Swift personally.
Yeah, same.
David Johnson's close. He's got a good matchup, but so does DeAndre Swift. So I'll go with DeAndre Swift because he's the better player, first of all. So Matt Stafford is playing, so that helps Swift
for sure. full PPR, pick 2 wide receivers in a flex. Justin Jefferson, T.Y. Hilton, Robert Woods, Marquise Brown, Claypool, Emmanuel Sanders, and then at tight end, Kittle or Tunyon. Quarterback, Cousins, Murray, or Josh Allen. Jefferson stack, question mark? Okay. So for the first one, you have to pick 2 wide receivers in a flex. I'm locking in.
Locked in.
Justin Jefferson's locked in. Woods is locked in.
Is that weird guy playing quarterback, though? That fucking John
Wolford? I'll take him. He's not that bad.
Is he?
He's got a little bit of
I guess your other options aren't very safe, so I'll take Woods over some of your other options there.
And then for the third, are you taking Claypool, Brown, or Hilton? I think with Ben sitting,
the Ravens need to win. I'm going to go with Marquise Brown.
Same.
Yeah.
Tight end, Kittle. Just
Kittle. Yeah, George Kittle for sure. And then I honestly would play Kirk Cousins over Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
Because one, you have Jefferson, so yeah, the Jefferson stack is a real thing. And 2, they also they don't need to win, but they have a great matchup, and Kyler Murray does not, and he's also banged up.
Yep, agreed. I wanted to say thank you guys. Appreciate that, Justin. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have made it as far as I did. Love the insight you provide. Been here since week 1 this year. Y'all killing it. Appreciate that. Glad we were able to help.
Glad you were able to stick around the whole time too, through all of our bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, or a lot of my thumbnails.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I appreciate that a ton, Justin. Glad to see that you made it as far as you did, and you're able to, clutch it up. So
hopefully you can win that chip this week. But yeah, for future reference, if you're the commissioner, the commissioner well, make sure they get it changed to weeks 1 to 16 fantasy season, because a lot of the stuff we talked about already, like, are they going to play their starters, or do they have anything to play for? It's like that's just what week 17 is. And there's a reason that none of us play in week 7, like neither of us play in week 17 fantasy. And a lot of bigger named fantasy analysts around the industry will tell you the same thing.
Yep, for sure. Can you trust starting Josh Allen?
No, you can't.
No.
They already, when you get a report saying that they're not going to play him very long, they just want him to break a franchise record, and then they're going to take him out, then you absolutely cannot start him.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Last one: Hawkinson, Tunyon, or Gesicki. I'll go with Tunyon here.
Yeah, I'll take Tunyon.
Yep. Let me know if we get any other questions. I'm going to quickly whip up this thumbnail.
Yeah, go ahead. I was going through. So for those of you that don't know, we're planning to launch a draft guide. It'll be with us and a number of other creators in the industry. We'll stay tuned for like a formal announcement for that. But I'm currently doing Jamar Chase's film right now, and I'm writing up his profile and all that kind of stuff. I got to tell you this: I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. Like I think he's a first round talent, like a back end of the first. He ended up grading a 950 for me, which is a late first round pick. But his teammate was higher. Justin Jefferson had a higher grade than him for me. And that's not me looking back with hindsight, being like, oh, Justin Jefferson's so good in the NFL. Jamar Chase can't be this good. But he has holes to his game. And part of it is because he's a projection. He was only 19 years old last year. And I think him playing this season would have gone a long way to improve his draft stock. I still think he's going to go high regardless. But he is much riskier than I thought he was going to be in terms of a prospect, because he does come with a projection. And my biggest concern for Jamar Chase is his lack of like physicality and ability to beat press and stuff like that. And that could be because he was younger and because he needs to grow into his body a little bit more and add some weight or something. But that's all a projection, right? You don't know how that's going to turn out. I think what he can turn into is someone like Chris Godwin or someone like DJ Moore. That's a lot of the type of receiver that I see in him, a lot of physical yards after catch type of player, but he needs to add some physicality to his game. And that could come with age, obviously, but I think I'm going to have a number of other receivers ahead of him.
I fully agree. Again, he's probably going to end up being either my wide receiver 3 or 4.
Like, yeah, that's probably where he's going to be for me. Depending on, I haven't watched Smith and Waddle yet, and I haven't watched Rondell Moore yet or Rashad Bateman, but I have a feeling 3 or 4 of those guys are going to be ahead of Chase.
I'll tell you right now, I've watched a good amount of Smith and Waddle so far, and they're not moving from wide receiver 1 and 2. Like, they are that good.
So like you're turning into me. Last year, the 2 Alabama receivers were my wide receiver 1 and 2.
And for the record, I don't think I'll ever move Waddle off of wide receiver 1. His movement skills are too special.
Yeah, he's
his movement, like, it's ridiculous. The only one that even like from a quickness standpoint, because obviously like there's going to be people that contest with long speed, but from a quickness standpoint, from what I've seen, in and out of breaks, quick transitions,
tyreek.
Kadarius Toney is really good too in the draft. Kadarius Toney is my wide receiver 7 right now. So basically the way I have it is I have the first 4 in a tier. I have Waddle, Smith, Chase, and Bateman in that order right now.
I have a feeling I'm going to like Moore better than Chase, man. I don't know why. What I've seen out of Rondale Moore, I think he's more of a translatable skill set. I think Chase needs to go to a situation where he's not the number 1 receiver, personally.
Right now, Moore's my 5, and he's heading that second tier. The reason why he's in that second tier, not the top tier, is because he's very scheme dependent, in my opinion.
Again, really? I don't see that with him. I see him as, I think he fits best in like a slot or like something like that, but I think he can go to like a number of different schemes. Again, I haven't formally watched him yet. I might change my opinion then, but
from what I've seen though, is that I want him to land in a scheme that can manufacture him touches, that can get him good looks in space and everything like that. He can't just get drafted to a team that's going to throw him on the outside, say, hey, you're beat press.
Well, I think where he's going to get drafted is a good thing because he's probably going to go late first, early second, which means that he's probably going to go to a better team than opposed to where Jamar Chase is probably going to go. And Jamar Chase will probably have that pressure to be the number 1 receiver right away. If I had to imagine where Chase is going to go in the draft, I'd imagine it's going to be, if you look at the draft order right now,
it'd be sexy, bro.
3 to 8, all 5 of them could take a receiver.
Yep, I agree. Again, like if Penei Sewell is off the board by the time that the Bengals pick up 5, I wouldn't be shocked if the Bengals reunited Burrow with his old college team.
I think that's a good fit for him because I don't think he has pressure to be the number 1 there because I think T. Higgins is the number 1 personally. So I think that is a good fit for him. I actually like the fit of actually I want to go back to the draft order. I don't even remember who's behind them. Oh, I like the fit of the Giants for Jamar Chase personally, but I don't think he's going to make it there to be honest because there's like 7 other teams ahead of him that could pick a receiver.
Yeah, agreed. Who are the 4 teams in the AFC that are vying? So it's the Dolphins, the Browns, the
Eagles is a good fit for Chase too. I think the Eagles is probably a pretty solid fit also.
Oh, Ravens. Yeah, no, I agree. Here, the reason why I'm asking is I'm going to quickly get Lamar Jackson for the thumbnail.
Sure, yeah. Go to the next question. We'll get into more fantasy stuff here.
Yep. I'll elaborate what I can.
Okay. So DeAndre Swift, Nick Chubb, Jeff Wilson, or David Johnson. Pick 3, please. So I think that Swift and Chubb are 100% in your lineup. It's between Wilson and David Johnson for me. I think I will go with David Johnson slightly over Jeff Wilson. I think they're both like pretty good plays, but David Johnson has the better matchup. Seattle has actually been pretty decent against the run. Whereas Tennessee is not. So I'll go with David Johnson. Plus David Johnson had that explosion game last week and maybe he's got some fresh legs compared to some of the other running backs around the league.
Yep, I agree there. I would go in the exact same order there as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. It might be 18 weeks next year. So maybe fantasy next year is weeks 1 to 17 instead of weeks 1 to 16 because there's 18 weeks in the fantasy season or in the NFL season.
Yep. How's Josie doing?
Oh yeah, she's just barking away. Classic.
Pick 2, Diggs, Aguilar, Gallup, McLaurin. Thanks, guys. You know what? With as much stake as there is going into these 2 games, I'm going with the Washington football team receiver and the Dallas Cowboys receiver. Both those teams want to win.
This is why you don't play Week 17 fantasy. We're telling you to sit Stephon Diggs. That's why you don't play Week 17 fantasy. Yeah. Because they're going to take him out of the game. It's a matter of when. Maybe he's in the game long enough in the first quarter. He gets like a long touchdown from Josh Allen. That could be the case, but I don't anticipate him coming out of the tunnel in the second half. Like, I don't think he's going to play the second half, and nor do I think Josh Allen plays. So, yeah, I agree. I'm not playing Stephon Diggs. I'll play Terry McLaurin and probably Michael Gallup ahead of him.
Yeah, for sure. My commissioner sucks, LOL. Bailed when he was at 0-3. What the heck? Wait, he left the league mid-league or mid-season?
That's stupid.
Although I had George Kittle, but I'm feeling Gronk this matchup. Bruce Arians wants to murder the Falcons, so I'm feeling.
He does. He wants that 5 seed. He didn't specifically say I want to play the NFC East winner, but we know that's why he wants to win. Yeah. Like you have control of the 5 seed. If you win this game, you get the 5 seed. You play either Washington, Dallas, or New York, whoever ends up being the 5 seed, and that's exactly who you want to play because your offense is getting on track at the right time, and a tune-up game against the NFC East winner in the playoffs is exactly what. I would help carry you too.
I would be so happy and so fucking like hysterical if we had if the Cowboys made it, ended up beating the Bucs first round.
I'd be so fucking mad.
I would be so hysterical. Yeah, I don't think you would hear the end of it if that happened.
That'd be the stupidest thing ever.
Dude, also big news if you guys follow the Cowboys or you know any Cowboys information at all. Kellen Moore turned down the head coaching offer at Boise State to remain as the Cowboys offensive coordinator. And apparently there's a long-term plan between him and Jerry. What this is suggesting to me is
he's eventually going to be the coach.
After the Mike McCarthy tenure, I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at Kellen Moore as the.
If that's how you feel now, fire McCarthy and make Kellen Moore the head coach. That's the way I look at it. Honestly.
And I will tell you right off the bat, I've always been a huge Kellen Moore fan. The fact that he's leading this team right now to like a top 10, top 12 type offense with literally backups all over the field, backup quarterback, backup offensive line. You had your backup running back in there for a game. You have your backup tight end all year, and you're still being able to have some type of offensive success. That just goes to show you, like, that's a great coached offense. I'm not going to talk about the defense because I don't need to, but I will say before anything, that defense has been playing a lot better recently than they were at the beginning of the season. Just I wish they were playing like that for Dak.
It goes into what we talked about on the What We Learned show, right? Because like continuity and keeping Kellen Moore just ensures that Dak Prescott, when he comes back, and CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper are going to be able. They shouldn't have a early season slump because they're in the same offense they've been for like 3 years now, going into next year.
And I'll tell you right now, I cannot wait till Dak Prescott's falling to like the 7th, 8th round in drafts.
That's not going to happen.
He could fall to like
he's gonna be like the 4th quarterback off the board,
which he should be in my opinion. But yeah,
he should be. But I don't think people are gonna be like, oh well, like I don't think people are gonna overthink Dak Prescott.
Well, like, could someone like convince themselves to take like a Justin Herbert over him because of the health?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think people are gonna do that.
So theoretically, right now,
Deshaun Watson, maybe someone might convince themselves to take Deshaun Watson over him, but I don't think like. Jalen Hurts is going to go ahead of him or something stupid like that. Because for him to fall the 7th, 8th round, that would probably have to happen. Like some of those guys going ahead of him.
That could be like quarterback 6 or 7 though, because people
I guess
in position. But like even if the only ones I can probably guarantee the majority of people will take over him,
Mahomes, Lamar, and Kyler.
I was going to say Mahomes, Rodgers, and Allen.
Oh, Allen too. Yeah, man, it's going to be a toss-up. There's a chance that he goes as
that's
like.
That's why you wait on the quarterback next year.
Huh?
That's why you wait on quarterback next year. There's literally like 10 options you can make the case for.
I think it's a good time next year to be in an 8 or 10 team league because there's going to be like 6 or 7 like elite guys.
Yeah,
and in those kind of leagues, that's what you need, right? Is those elite options
for sure. Also, Godwin, Cooper, or Lockett, pick 2, please. I'm going with first 2.
Yeah, Tyler Lockett hasn't done anything to make me trust him, so I'll take the first 2.
Who do you guys trust more, Antonio Gibson or Melvin Gordon full PPR? If Gibson plays, I'm absolutely starting him. The problem is, like, when does Melvin Gordon play? When do you need to know that by?
What time does he play?
Yeah, he's 4, right? We're mentioning Waller plays them, so they play the Raiders.
Yeah, it's probably 4:00. I'll check right now. Yeah, it's 4:00, 4:25. So,
dude,
I would say if you don't know anything about Antonio Gibson's status going into Sunday Night Football, I would just play Melvin Gordon. I think it's as simple as that. If Antonio Gibson is expected to play, it comes out before the 4:00 games, that Antonio Gibson is expected to play, then I would play him over Melvin Gordon.
Dude, Tyler keeps messaging me to start the fantasy hockey league when literally like half the people have paid. I'm like, why the heck would I start it without people paying?
I don't even think I'm in that, so.
What, man? Pick 2: Madison, Woods, Diggs, Montgomery. I'm going with Woods and Montgomery.
Yeah, I agree.
Standard: Hurts or Kyler Murray, tight end, Tunyon or Smith. I'm going with Hurts and Tunyon. Yeah,
I'll go with Hurts. The tiebreaker being that Murray is banged up and it's a horrible matchup, pretty much.
Yep. Murray, Carr, or Ryan. At this point, I would just go with Murray.
I think I would just go with Murray. Matt Ryan had a good game against Tampa last time. And it's possible he does that again. We're missing some defensive starters, like I mentioned, but I think it's too risky to trust Derek Carr or Matt Ryan over Kyler Murray, even if Kyler Murray is banged up and in a bad matchup.
Yeah, I agree. So Manu says we should really pin our what we learned from 2020 video to your YouTube page. Probably one of the best videos anyone could watch going into next season.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. We said right after we recorded, I'm like, I think that's like one of the best videos we've ever done, personally, because I just thought there was so much information in that. And obviously we admitted some mistakes that we made because everyone makes mistakes. Anyone who's on Twitter never makes mistakes. Obviously their opinion's always correct, but when we were able to admit our mistakes, see why we made incorrect takes and stuff, and take that forward into next season, why we might not make the same mistake twice, is a big deal, right? And as you mentioned, going into next season, we're going to forget some of those lessons that we learned, right? So having it available for us to watch again, I think is a good idea. And I actually probably agree we should pin it to our YouTube page.
I agree. Like, even for ourselves, like, just doing that research and preparing for basically what happened this year, what transpired, what can we take from it going forward? Like, it helped us a ton, and we were the ones that were presenting the information to you guys. So hopefully from your guys' perspective, you weren't doing like the research, or maybe perhaps we were able to give all that information to you guys as well.
And there was probably 5 or 6 other lessons we could have done too. Yeah. Someone mentioned Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs in the comment section of that video. That's another situation we could have taken away from as well. But we didn't even we just didn't want to make the video like 2 hours long. But
again, like a lot of like similar situations tied down to the same lessons. So like we mentioned Aaron Rodgers and continuity in the system. Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs is a prime example.
Because they had Brian Daboll the year for Josh Allen specifically, because Brian Daboll was the play caller for him pretty much. So I think it's been his play caller the whole year, right? Yeah, or his whole career. I mean,
yep.
So yeah, that like all that kind of stuff ties in together, and I think the ones that we chose were pretty good examples because they were either huge busts or huge hits in terms of fantasy success for last year or this past year.
Oh yeah. Speaking, you know how Jared went like on a bunch of the old videos and commented, right?
Yeah.
So you remember my bus video?
Yeah.
So somebody commented, he's like, you fucking two or whatever, Rodgers is gonna tear your sorry ass defense and prove you wrong. And then I'm like, yeah, don't be surprised if he disappoints. And all you see is Jared replies to it. He's like, oof, this did not age well.
Yeah, that's facts. I mean, well, how many guys did you have in that video? 5?
5. So I had quarterback was Aaron Rodgers, Odell, AJ Green. Running backs were David Johnson, Todd Gurley, and then tight end was
Evan Ingram? Gronk?
No, I don't even think it was Gronk. Wait.
I don't even think you had a tight end, did you?
I might not have. I don't remember. But
either way, like Aaron Rodgers was a huge miss, obviously. But I would say, and I guess Todd Gurley kind of was too, because he did perform well for fantasy early in the season.
But like, if you didn't trade him, then he was a bust at where you picked him. Because if you didn't trade him by week 9, like if you had him the second half of the season.
But, and there's a good chance people didn't trade him, right? Even though we told them to told people to trade them, they were like, "Oh, but he's giving me all this fantasy production. Why would I trade him?" Right? So there's a good chance they did that. But either way, he went like 60%, which is pretty solid.
Yeah, which is better than you could even like anticipate going in.
Yeah.
And there are noteworthy / exciting games to watch today. Cowboys versus Giants at 1:00 is going to be for a playoff spot.
The Ravens game is going to be pretty exciting, I think, at least.
Oh yeah, definitely.
The Browns and Steelers might be kind of exciting also. Any game that has playoff implications will probably be exciting. The ones that don't are probably just going to be kind of snooze fests.
Isn't it wild that we're about to be in the playoffs, man? Like, we're about to be in playoff football.
Oh yeah, I know. It went by pretty fast. I'm not gonna lie.
For sure. That's crazy. And unrelated, are you guys fans of college basketball?
Not really. I'll watch March Madness games here and there, but that's about it. I'm not like a huge college basketball guy. And when I watch March Madness games, it's just for like whatever the prospect of that year is. Like I watched a lot of Murray State games a couple years ago when John Morant was there because I just thought he was just sick.
Yeah.
But and like Duke, obviously, when they had Barrett and Zion and stuff, but it's not a huge thing for me. It's kind of exciting, I guess, but I'm not overly into college basketball.
Yeah, so I'm a pretty big college basketball guy myself, and my team, the Kentucky Wildcats, aren't doing too great this year. So I believe we're 1-5 or 1-4. I can't remember.
Not great. No, it's not ideal.
But just unfortunate. Let me actually check our exact record now that we're here. It's terrible. Okay, it's 2-6 now. We're 2-6, and we went into the season as like the 8th ranked overall team. So
yeah, because you're Kentucky, not because you were good.
Yeah. To be fair, though, I mean Kentucky's had some talented teams. The problem is this year, like it's just not gelling at all.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I've like the Cowboys. It seems like you pick a nice theme to most of your teams.
And
I like to pick teams that disappoint me. It's just why I'm a Leafs and Buccaneers fan.
Michigan for college football.
Oh yeah, nice extension on fucking worst coach I've ever seen in college football. I can't believe they extended him. That is actually the funniest thing I've ever seen. When I saw someone I saw someone tweet like, Ohio State -7.5 is a lock in 2025 or something like that. I saw someone tweet that. I was laughing so hard.
I was gonna say, I think the reason why they did it is because they brought in this 5-star recruit coming into next year for quarterback, right? JJ McCarthy. So if you think about it, that's what 2021 to 2024. He probably just wanted to make sure the guy
in time for him to ruin his career. Nice.
Yeah,
remember when they brought in another 5-star from a different school and they had Shea Patterson transfer from Ole Miss?
Yeah, he's terrible.
He's terrible, but he was a 5-star. It's the same.
How was he a 5-star? He was a noodle arm with no pocket presence. Like that made no sense.
He was a 5-star coming out of high school. That's all that mattered, apparently, to Michigan.
What was I gonna say? Okay. For Michigan and Colorado.
We should probably get to these last couple questions here.
My bad. I was gonna talk about Kentucky and I forgot. McMahon. Oh, we got a kicker question.
Well, kicker questions.
I'm gonna go with Jason, the boy, Sanders.
Yeah, I'll go with Sanders there.
Last week I was winning by 38 points. My opponent had one player that Monday. He had Diggs scored 37. Wow.
Yeah, I had a different situation where I was down by about 40 points, and I had Diggs and Adams left, and I ended up winning by 40 points because those guys both put up over 40 for me because it was full PPR. But
that's wild. Thanks, fam. No problem, Antonio. Diggs or Woods? Give me Woods because they're expecting to play the whole game. And we got Dale saying pick one: Gage, Cam Sims, or Reagor, and Josh Allen or Daniel Jones. So for the first part of that question, man, I don't want to do it, but I think I'm gonna have to go back to the Russell Gage well.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I guess. Yeah, I guess I'll take Russell Gage. I think Jalen Reagor is not a terrible upside swing just because the
Washington football team though.
Yeah, it's the Washington football team, but I mean Miles Sanders isn't going to play in that game, so there's a chance that they rely on the pass a little bit more. So I don't know. None of those options are very exciting, but I'll go with Russell Gage, I guess.
And in a must-win game against the Cowboys, I'll go with Daniel Jones because
it's this is why Week 17 sucks. Is because we're starting Daniel Jones over Josh Allen. That's why.
I need every point I can this week. I have the Cards defense, but football team, the Packers, Bucks, Dolphins, and some lower level defenses. Should I keep the Cards or look elsewhere? I'd go with the Bucks. Matt Ryan kind of stinks.
I think I'd stick with the Cards defense against John, whatever his name is. I'll take Arizona. The Bucks defense is without Devin White. It's without Shaq Barrett. It's a little bit down in terms of the talent that they have there. Plus, Matt Ryan did kind of shred them through the air last time they played.
Agreed. Melvin plays at 325 Central. Appreciate that, Camille. So you'll have until then to make that decision, and no problem. Who should I start? Diggs, Curtis Samuel, or Nelson Aguilar? Full PP. Again, this is why Week 17 stinks because the answer is going to be Curtis Samuel here.
Yeah, probably.
Unreal. Yeah, I'm taking Montgomery over Madison.
What is it, David Montgomery or Ty Montgomery?
I'm assuming it's David.
It could be Ty though, because Ty Montgomery is alone in that backfield right now. So if anyone said Montgomery in their questions, we assumed it was David Montgomery. So if it's not David Montgomery, then I would take Alexander Madison over Ty Montgomery if that is the case. Yes, but I would take David Montgomery over Alexander Madison.
10 minutes left, rapid mode. Yeah, drop your last second questions. We've been on for about 40 minutes now, and whatever you have left, we need to answer. Fire home. Nice dash, Bush.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, I gotta shave my beard because this is what 5-6 days. It's not.
If I grew out my facial hair for my whole life, I wouldn't have that much. So. Yeah, Dale. If you have any other, if you have a question, did he ask a question? Oh yeah, he did. Okay,
yeah, we answered it. We were just a little bit behind because he asked it at 12:40.
We went on tangents.
Yeah. Madison or Montgomery. Again, assuming this is David, I'm going with David Montgomery there. Dopamine.
Yep.
Nice name, by the way. Dopamine Fiend.
Yeah, it's elite.
That's respectable.
Yeah. If you guys have any other last minute questions to get in, go ahead and fire those away. We're a little bit lethargic when it comes to start sit questions, if you could tell. Because we're at week 17 in the season, neither of us are playing in our championships or anything like that. We're really excited to get into off-season content. We'll bring the energy up for that, obviously, because this is I talked about it already, but this is the time we get to be creative. We don't have to limit ourselves to start sit questions and waiver wire things. It's not like we don't like doing those things, but the off-season analysis part of it is a lot more. It's a lot more new and fresh.
Yep. And he says Jason Sanders in the snow concerning question mark.
If there's weather conditions, I'd probably pivot to Myers, but
yeah, same.
Yeah, I didn't assume there'd be weather conditions because he plays for the Dolphins, but I guess they're probably playing in New York or something. So,
they're playing Buffalo.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd go with Myers then if it's supposed to be a lot of snow.
Yep. Also, mock draft video almost 7.5K right now.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, a lot of views on that.
Solid. Like to see that people are enjoying it and are liking it up. It's got like 200 likes too. So
yeah, definitely like to see that.
Respectable. Appreciate y'all.
12:55. Got 5 more minutes until we get to hear.
5 more minutes till we hear the red zone sign until I put.
Yeah, the red zone. 7 hours and commercial free football for the last time until freaking September next year.
Fuck. I got a nice cigar, and I'll tell you if Washington loses tonight after the Cowboys win, I'm lighting that motherfucker up and just enjoying.
Chargers head coach Anthony Lynn will meet with ownership on Monday, but the expectation is the team will move on. So Justin Herbert's probably going to have a new coach.
Brian DeBall, please. Also, big news yesterday. Adam Gase. Finally.
Yeah, geez. Imagine if they held on to that.
But also, what about the Jaguars have the first pick? And it sounds like they're hiring Urban Meyer.
They're not going to pick Justin Fields just because they're hiring Urban Meyer. He never coached Justin Fields.
I know, but like what he said basically is like when Justin Fields was coming in, like basically because he heard from Ryan Day, because like him and Ryan Day are really close friends, right?
Yeah, obviously.
When Justin Fields came in, like the aura that he had around him, the team leader, like we've never had a quarterback at the program of Ohio State ever be like that in our history. Like he basically like.
I mean, it's not a high bar.
I know, but like it's just.
What if Urban Meyer? How much you want to bet Urban Meyer brings in like Dwayne Haskins as the backup or something?
I'd laugh
pretty hard too.
Or would they take Penei Sewell at 1 and just use Haskins as their quarterback?
I see. That's part of the reason I don't take stock in him saying Justin Fields is like the best quarterback they've had at Ohio State, because I'm pretty sure he was on the Move the Sticks podcast. He said the same thing about Dwayne Haskins. So
that's fair.
Yeah, he's just pumping up his program. He doesn't.
That would be hilarious if they passed on Lawrence, though. Imagine.
To me, in my head, I can kind of see Justin Fields more as a Jaguar than I can as a Jet, and same goes for Lawrence. I can kind of see him as a Jet more than I can see him as a Jaguar. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense to me, but I don't think they're going to do it.
Me neither.
Unless Justin Fields. I mean, if Justin Fields lights up Alabama and wins the national title, does he have a chance? I think it makes it a better conversation.
I still wouldn't.
I still wouldn't either, but I think it's a conversation because Justin Fields just flamed Clemson's defense, and if he does the same to Alabama, then I know it becomes a bit more of a conversation for Jacksonville specifically with Urban Meyer there and stuff. I'm not saying in general it becomes a conversation. I think for Jacksonville specifically, it becomes a conversation.
Also, do you love how one game just completely fucking like takes over narratives? Like,
oh yeah, everyone
going into that game
on Zach Wilson being QB2, and then Justin Fields lights up the Clemson defense, and now he's the guaranteed QB2, potentially QB1.
Yeah, that's insane. Also, did you see on Twitter, freaking, you know the DF bean counter, like the analytics guy, him and the film grinders got into a huge argument on Twitter yesterday
about what?
Like breakout age and everything like that, and like whether it's important or not. And MB Scouting or Matt, like my boy too, like they were going back and forth, just like quote tweeting each other. And I was just like sitting at the side watching. I'm like, dang.
Yeah. See, the thing about that is that no one why doesn't anyone acknowledge that you need both? Everyone just thinks it's one or the other. Like it's the same thing for any argument in sports. Is Michael Jordan better or LeBron James better? Like, guys, they're both like the greatest of their eras. Like, was it Bill Belichick or Tom Brady? Guys, they're both the best of their positions. Like, I don't know why everyone just assumes analytics wins or tape wins. You need both. Like, you need to watch the play. Like, tape proves how good they are at football. You watch them play football, and analytics proves the things that tape sometimes disguises.
Yeah. Like, you need your tape specifically to prove the context behind the analytics.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Why didn't, or if a guy has an 18-year-old breakout, you watch his 18-year-old film. How did he break out? Why did he break out?
Did he get 15 targets a game, or was he actually good?
Yeah, and vice versa. If a guy like Devontae Smith breaks out at 20.8 years old, I think they have it on the site. Why did it take so long for him to break out? Well, I mean, he was playing on Alabama.
And the breakout age metric in general is also kind of skewed because it's related to your percentage of your team's volume and stuff like that. Henry Ruggs scored a touchdown in his first 7 touches at Alabama. That to me signifies a breakout in terms of efficiency, but because he wasn't involved enough, because they had Calvin Ridley, they had Jerry Jeudy, they had DeVonta Smith, and they didn't have Waddle yet, but they had all these guys, and obviously it's hard for Ruggs or someone like that to break out in a situation where he has numerous first-round receivers ahead of him in the pecking order.
Yeah, for sure. So, like, just being able to balance all that out is ultimately how you come up with a refined and exact process.
It's all a piece of the puzzle. A prospect can have great analytics and be bad on tape, which is what I saw from N'Keal Harry. A prospect can have terrible analytics and be great on tape, which is what I saw from Terry McLaurin. Like it goes both ways. But people like to pretend it's like this one size fits all. It's this, that, or the other. It's everything. Everything combined contributes to a prospect's profile.
And not to mention, like, a lot of the times, film people are going to like people that analytics people like as well, because if a player is good on film,
everyone agreed that Jerry Jeudy was a great player, both tape and analytics people.
It's most likely that a player that looks good on film also meets the statistical thresholds for their analytical profile.
There's usually only a few exceptions one way or the other that film people like, and it's always the source of debate. Like I remember Keem Butler was a big guy that analytics people hated and film people liked. Same goes for Ruggs, who analytics people hated and film people liked, and same goes for Terry McLaurin. And like, there's always a couple of these guys each year that fit that description.
DeVonta Smith this year?
DeVonta Smith, is he not an analytics guy?
He's not.
Why is he not an analytics guy? He has 20 fucking touchdowns.
He has a late breakout, and he didn't have.
So did Calvin Ridley. Like,
yeah, I know it's dumb, and his dominated rating wasn't high until his junior year, is what they're saying.
Again, he had 3 first-round receivers.
Not to mention, I mean, I saw a narrative on Twitter. It's like, oh, if DeVonta Smith was so good, would have been a first-rounder last year. Why didn't he go to the draft? Well, first, for starters, he had the talent.
He improved his draft stock for starters.
And to start off, first of all, he had the talent to go in the first round. He was a 1,200-yard, 14-touchdown receiver who was the most productive receiver in Alabama last year. Yep. Then he went his senior year and literally
should win the Heisman, in my opinion.
Should win the Heisman. And he's going to improve his draft stock from maybe, 25 to 32 to now he's basically a top 15 at minimum lock. Probably in the top 10 lock.
And people talk about his weight. They took, the Ravens took Marquise Brown at like 157 pounds in the top 30 picks.
Not to mention, I mean, DeVonta Smith's got the frame that could fill out. Like he could, like his
frame. I don't think
can
he can add too much more weight. I think he could get up to like 185 or something like that. He's going be a slighter receiver, I think.
Yeah.
But he doesn't need to be huge. Like that's not the type of receiver he is.
Agreed. But we are at 102, and Scott Hansen's probably already started his red zone. So we're gonna head out. So take it easy, y'all. Peace out. Anything you want to say or
no?
Okay.